Hello and welcome to this Octatrack Tip video. Today we will focus on the amp page and its setup menu. We will use the Octatrack as an advanced synthesizer to get acquainted with the parameters in those two pages. First, we need some single cycle waveforms. They are sampled from synthesizers or other noise-making devices of all sorts. They are ideally suited for samplers as they take very little space, yet let you achieve infinitely sustaining sounds. Let's begin by loading a single cycle waveform into a flex machine on track 1. It sounds like this when not looped and looks like this. Go into the attributes page and set the loop on. We get a sustained sound that will keep playing forever at this point. This is your first oscillator. You can now shape the sound using classic synthesis parameters. To begin, let's take a look at the amp page. We will make our sound shorter by bringing the hold and release down. You can go from a tiny little click to an infinite note. In the amp setup page, the shape of the attack portion can be toggled between linear for a steady rise to logarithmic for a more percussive attack. Those three parameters let you design sounds from short bleeps to long, slow, rising pads. Let's put some triggers in the sequence and play with those parameters. It's very intuitive to create dynamic sequences on the Octatrack, thanks to its implementation of parameter locks. Use the volume parameter and locks to create accents. Lock the pan for some stereo movement. Lock attack, hold and release for expressive and groovy variations from a very simple sound. In the amp setup page, we can control the triggering behavior of the amp envelope. R+T will let you retrigger the envelope on every trig and on every trigless trig. RT/RG will let you retrigger the envelope on every trig but not on trigless trigs, and analog, ANLG, lets the envelope run free. Also, we can sync the amplitude envelope to tempo in the amp setup page. Switching this on or off will create different results based on your sequence and your parameter locks. One real-life use of these experiments is to create a side-chaining effect on the loop. Place a full loop on a track. Put a normal trigger on the first beat of the sequence and a trigless trig on the steps 5, 9 and 13. Make sure your amp envelope settings are set to R+T. By locking the attack time to the steps, we can simulate a pumping effect very convincingly, and we can always move trigless trigs around the sequence for instant variations. Experiment with all the settings in the amp and amp setup pages along with parameter locks for some drastic, unpredictable results, and have fun. Another key aspect of the Octatrack is its implementation of scenes. Scenes allow you to lock any number of parameters to either side of the crossfader and then morph between them at will for some truly rewarding and organic sound mangling. Scene 1 will be our default scene, the one we can return to at any point and get our original sequence back. It's assigned to scene A. Let's assign scene 9 to scene B. We can lock our amp parameters to scene 9 by holding the scene B button and tweaking the parameters in the amp page. In addition to the parameters we have already covered, we can lock X volume to a scene. A minimum value will mute the sound completely. You can view this parameter as an extra way to control the volume of your sound. Also, it allows you to keep your accents, but still gradually fade the whole track in or out. By setting up scenes with different locks and fading between them, we can achieve interesting effects in a very intuitive and creative way. For even more fun, we can assign a tweak scene to scene A as well and morph between them. The results can take you outside traditional synthesis and into unexplored territory. You can also swap the single cycle wave we've been using with any other sample you desire. Your imagination and creativity are the only limit at that point. This concludes the first part of our Octatrack Tip videos. Next, we will look at the playback page and its setup menu.